What's going on, everybody? The date is 3/9/2024, and this is GGVLOG. So this week has been, I want to say, a little bit productive. I went on an adventure, which does mean that I left the house. That was pretty awesome. In fact, I went on 2 adventures, but one of them is a little bit more exciting than the other one was. So I will talk about the first adventure first and then the other one after that. So as you may or may not know, if you've been following along, I have been on a marketplace thing in terms of meeting people to collect items off of Facebook Marketplace for different purposes. And one of the items that I wanted to collect this week was an isolation shield. It's basically a device that you put around your microphone when you're recording, and it cuts out a lot of external background noise and things like that. So it's very useful for getting better quality recordings. And I have one, but it's not 360 degrees. It's only like 180 degrees. But the one that I bought also kind of encloses the top, so it's just increasing the amount of isolation that you can get from your vocal recordings, which is important because I do record quite a bit of things, from music to voiceovers to tutorials. But anyway, so basically you can look at it as like a tool of the trade, like something that is an investment. It's not just something that I'm buying for fun. So anyway, I'm doing online market research for something that is good for my price range, but will also fulfill my needs for this purpose. And I do find one. Now, what is interesting is the one that I find is about $45 on eBay, and before I buy it, I'm like, I wonder what are the local options, because if I can get something sooner rather than later, I'm always going to want to do that. So I do this and I look at the local market options, and what I see is that someone is selling the exact one that I was going to order online. So I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely want to get this. So I messaged the woman who's selling it, and she was basically like, yeah, we can do the trade. And so we arrange for like a few days, and it ends up that I'm going to be picking this up at across the street from where she works or something like that, because that's closer to my area, because she lives all the way across town. Because the area I live in is kind of like a big metropolitan area, so even though they just use one city name, it's actually like several different little cities and townships, and everything is spread out. You may relate, you may not, but anyway, that's just how it is. So this can explain why sometimes when I say I'm doing like a marketplace trade, I end up going on these long adventures and these long journeys. But anyway, we agree, we had the time and the date set up to do the trade, and on the day of, I head out, and I'm like literally like, I want to say like halfway there, and it's cold. It's not super cold like it was before, but it's cold enough that again my cell phone battery shorts out, so I don't have my GPS, and I don't know exactly where this place is that I'm supposed to be meeting this woman at. So what ends up happening is I basically have to find a public outlet, because I also left my backpack at home that has my portable power bank to where I can just charge things on the go. So I was in a hurry when I left out. This is why I always say, it's good to try not to rush, because a lot of times you'll forget things that are important, and you'll be way worse off than you would have been if you just took a little bit of time to be mindful about things. But anyway, what ends up happening is I have to make my way to the local Amtrak station here in town, and I make my way there, so the thing about me and directions is I'm actually really good with directions. Like once I know where something is, and I can like mentally map all the different landmarks and things like that, I can almost always find my way around a different place, like even if I've only been there for like a few days. But when there are like these little nooks and crannies and places, that's when I find GPS to be really useful. So I'm at the Amtrak station, and for some reason they don't have any public outlets, because of the fact that everybody wants to discourage homeless people from like existing. So that's probably what it is. They don't want people using the outlets or the electricity going So I mean, that kind of is what that is. So what I do is I find an outlet where the water fountain is plugged in, and I unplug the water fountain, and then I start charging my digital devices. And I do that, and once I have my device with the cell phone data charged, then I message the lady to let her know that I didn't just ghost her. Because a lot of times what happens in the marketplace is you'll agree to meet somebody and people will be like, yeah, I'm coming, but then they never show up. So I just wanted to let her know that was not the case, because I definitely do want this device. So she's like, okay, but I already went home, because at this point it's already like 30 minutes past the time we were supposed to be meeting. So I'm like, okay, that's understandable. But anyway, that was my little thing. And to make a long story short, like I said, it didn't happen that day, but I did meet her about 2 days later on Thursday, and we did make the trade. I made sure that my cell phone was fully charged and I barely used it, so got that taken care of. I didn't actually even unpack or assemble the shield yet, because I was just, doing a lot of other stuff. So I just didn't really want to be bothered doing that yet, but that's something that will happen soon. So yeah, that happened. Anyway, GG.